disgusting.
I rarely play Thief since I did my Dagger Thief long time ago, but this build is so fun to play. It is absolutely glass cannon, so not a lot of survivability. You are absolutely a roamer, so don't expect to be, standing inside of a Zerg, but overall it does a ton of damage and it's really easy setup to play. So here's the build. I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started. Alright, for your specialization, let's start with the bottom here really quickly. Obviously Deadeye, going with malicious intent on your first one. The others really didn't have much here. One in the chamber, you're not going to be using stolen skills as much, whereas malicious intent, because marking and striking immediately grants malice, it allows you to kind of have a pretty hard hitting malicious backstab. So I went with that. For the next one, it was honestly a toss-up when I was testing. You can go silent scope versus premeditation. Premeditation is really good because you get a lot of boons. You get 5 boons on your Deadeye mark, so that's 5% damage, so pretty decent. And then finally, be quick or be killed, because again, this is a super bursty build. When you have quickness, you get 200 power and 200 position. With quickness, this puts you at crit cap and it gives you a ton of damage coming in here. Next up is critical strikes. You go with twin fangs. Nothing else was really that good here. You don't really need initiative because you're gonna pop this early on in the fight, so that's completely a waste. And then gain might when you gain fury. You only really gain fury in very few ways, whereas I think the crit damage and the crit increase is just much better, because you're gonna be, when you're starting fights again, you're gonna be well above that 90% one, so you're gonna have essentially a 5% crit damage increase, a 2% crit damage increase on top of that when you're hitting from behind, so you're gonna have a 7% increase, and then a critical chance increase of 7% as well. It's just too good. And then go with practical tolerance, ferocity based on precision. Everything else was it's okay. Stealth attacks inflict vulnerability and grant fury upon hitting. You're pretty much at crit cap, so nothing good there. Whereas it's 15% ferocity increase and you already have a pretty high amount of precision, so it just adds your crit damage to be really high. And then finally, no quarter, landing a critical hit. One of the effects of fury increases the duration of fury, gain increased ferocity while under effects of fury. So you're gonna be under fury a lot. I think fury you just max out immediately, and having 300 ferocity with it is huge. Okay, for the last one, I went with trickery, and I'll talk about the alternative you can do and why I chose trickery over that. The trickery, you get thrill of crime, fury, swiftness, might. Huge when you're doing your Deadeye gaze. You get that your fury one for a huge crit chance and a ferocity boost. Bountiful theft, stealing grants you vigor, so you can kind of move around a little bit, and you also boon strip, which is another really good one if you fighting somebody with protection or some of those hard kind of big boons. You strip that right away. If the target doesn't have boons, you get a bunch of might. And then finally, sleight of hand, stealing also dazes the target and reduces cooldown of steal. For the final one, there really isn't much here that you can pick. None of these have any good, in my opinion, that works with like bursty skills. You don't really have much tricks, so that's a waste. You're not a Condi one, so that's not useful. Again, you don't have tricks, so you're not removing conditions there, and then you don't interrupt. Like, there's nothing to interrupt, so that's just not worthwhile. And on the last one, you're not Condi, so it doesn't matter. And then you don't really switch weapons in combat, so completely useless on that front. You could go Deadly Arts. I personally did not like it. If you are going Deadly Arts, I would do this. This one, or you can flip-flop between these two.
I just don't think it's good, particularly because you're giving up crit chance here. If you do go deadly arts, you definitely want to take silent scope over it. But you even with that, you only have, let me see here, about a 68% crit chance. Oftentimes, what I've seen is that you just miss your initial backstab crit from this, and that's just a huge DPS loss. On paper, it looks like it's a little bit better DPS, because you just get a ton of power. I mean, if you look at the power output here, I think it's like 3,000 power. But it just, one, I think you lose a lot of survivability with it, because with trickery, you get extra initiative on stealing. You get extra initiative just outright in here. You get extra, yeah. It's just, yeah. I would just say it's just not worth not taking trickery in here. All right, let's talk gear. Obviously, Dagger with a short bow. You're gonna be camping short bow a lot for non-fight, so you can stack your Sigil of Bloodlust, and then you also have Superior Sigil of Energy for a 50% endurance increase. You could switch this to the endurance increase to something else. Again, you don't necessarily swap weapons in combat, so it's not, you don't necessarily need energy. Oftentimes it's more of a, oh shit, I need to get out kind of thing. So you could go with like the frost one that will CC around you, but you definitely want Bloodlust here, because again, you're going to be camping this weapon, so you can stack your Bloodlust there. For your double daggers, you go with blast and air. Again, does a ton of damage here, so it's just kind of a given. For the other armor, you're going to be doing a mix of berserkers, assassins, and what's the other one? Dragon. You want to try and get to about a 65% crit chance here, and about a 240-ish crit damage. You can mix and match. Like, you kind of got to play around with it a little bit, because you don't want to get too glass tanky. You do want to have some level of survivability so you can get out if needed. So you want to aim for about, I would say, 1,500 or so health. For someone, I don't know why, for some reason you don't have when you're in the actual War vs. World, this health goes out to about 1,500. I'm not really sure the exact reason, but yeah, so just get to about 1,500 health, 65% crit chance, and about a 240 crit damage. Finally, for the relic, Relic of Claw, you could go, I think, Relic of Thief or Fireworks. I went for Claw because you're gonna be doing days on your Deadeye mark, and you have your Basilisk Venom, so this is gonna proc easily for your burst immediately, so you'll be having 7% right off the bat. Again, you could definitely go for Thief and Fireworks, but I just went with Claw.
All right, let's talk general playstyle and combos here. As I mentioned before, you're going to be mostly camping your short bow when kind of roaming around, particularly for your infiltrator arrow to kind of position yourself and to really get some bloodlust on, NPC kills. But when you see a target, you're going to go ahead and switch to your daggers. What you want to do is go prep Basilisk Venom, that will give you your stun, into Assassin Signet, into Cloak and Dagger. While Cloak and Dagger is casting, you hit with Deadeye, so that you get both Cloak and Dagger and kind of Deadeye stun hitting at the same time. I've seen, because Deadeye gives you your quickness, I've seen people go into Deadeye into Cloak and Dagger. In my experience, I've seen I seem to miss a lot if I go that route. Like, the target just gets out of range and like Cloak and Dagger just kind of messes up. So I usually like to lead with Cloak and Dagger into Deadeye's mark. The big important thing is making sure you pop your Assassin Signet, because that's going to give you a ton of power. So let's see what the damage looks like here. Pop this, pop that, go into Cloak and Dagger, boom. That's 18k right there. And I mean, I can auto attack as well. 18k damage. Overwhelmingly majority of the people that's rocking about 18k on base, they're going to be dead. If they're not, right? They're gonna be under 50% health, so you can follow with a Heartseeker, and most likely gonna be under 25% health for even a harder hitting Heartseeker. But generally speaking, that combo right there should end your target. So that's it. That's the whole build. Enjoy some clips and let me know your thoughts.